Oh, there you are. Fucking love you. Just a note. I'll be coughing a lot during this video because I've picked up a pretty bad head cold, so it's not just to annoy you, but also because I'm dying inside. But goddamn, Heath's back here with another one. Who would have thought? So Young Thug released a new album, his apparently debut album. That's a bit of a bamboozle because I thought some of his previous stuff was albums, but no. They were all mixtapes. But So Much Fun is Young Thug's new trap hip-hop album that is co-produced by J. Cole and has 19 tracks full of features ranging from a bunch of notable artists such as Juice WRLD, Gunna, Travis, J. Cole of course. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really give much like anticipation towards this album as Young Thug has never really like truly resonated as like favorite artist of mine. Fuck. But he has released some really good material in the past, such as his single Pick Up the Phone with Travis Scott or Wyclef Jean off his mixtape Jeffrey, which that mixtape I think surprised a lot of people and definitely surprised me. It was pretty damn good. So I have understood how Young Thug has become such like an influence in the hip hop field right now, and he also has such a unique delivery to his voice that is easily recognizable. So this new album, So Much Fun, while taking a risk at 19 tracks, is what I think is Young Thug embracing this influence he has on the whole trap genre. So first thing to note about this album that I think like really caught my eye is how well his delivery and the production on this album work together. Young Thug is such a very like high, vibrant sound to his voice that is so like energetic, and it's so crazy to hear. So there were many times on this album, or many tracks on this album, where when the beat sounded popish and vibrant, such as tracks like Surf or What's the Move or Mannequin Challenge, his voice paired with these beats, quite uplifting and groovy in a sense. I especially love as well when he does some really weird sounds or ad-libs in the middle of the track that are they're just so fun and add so much character to the tracks. It's like he's screaming or squealing on the track, and it's so weird, but it's so fucking good. Or either when the beat is sounding like really epic and energetic, such as on tracks such as Sup Mate or Hot. It all adds to the energy Young Thug brings on the track. So I definitely found that on these tracks where the delivery sounded supported and vibrant was where I thought Young Thug was at his best. But there were quite a few tracks where I did feel like they didn't really match or work with what Young Thug and the features were doing over the top of it. So that kind of, in my opinion, left some tracks feeling a little bit boring or flat throughout this whole track list. But the sound on this album is pretty consistent throughout, and there were definitely some catchy beats here and there on the album that I really enjoyed. And most of these tracks that caught my eye were the ones that were poppy and melodic and very vibrant and cheerful, or with a guitar plucking in the background, such as on Boy Back. I don't know what it is with Young Thug, it's just whenever there's a guitar around, it's just so hot. But yeah, the production on this album was all really solid and clean, but there were quite a few hits and misses on this album. There were some tracks that lacked in its production, didn't really work. There were a lot that really were catchy and supported with what Young Thug was doing over the top of it. Another thing I enjoyed and noticed was the loaded amount of features on this album. There are a total of 13 features on this 19 track album, and I'll have to admit most of them do a pretty good job on the tracks they are on. Some of my favorite features were from Gunna, where on Hot and Surf he really suited the track's vibe and really ran with what Young Thug was doing. Also Lil Uzi Vert, where on What's the Move he gave us a short but sweet verse that brought me back to those Perfect Love Tape vibes, where, oh my god, it was so nostalgic on that. Or Juice WRLD riding the smooth beat that was on Mannequin Challenge. And of course J. Cole and Travis Scott doing an awesome job on the London. And even Future on Sup Mate gave what I thought was a pretty decent verse. So on those tracks where Young Thug had those features, it definitely felt like they were picked to match the song's sound. So Young Thug definitely knew what he was doing when picking these guys to feature on his album. And I also think that comes back to the amount of influence Young Thug has on the trap genre, where it's like he knows his contemporaries very well, but and knows what everyone's about, and he still keeps his own sound and style. There were one or two features on this album which I thought were a little underwhelming and didn't really suit the vibe of the track, but when that was the case, it was mostly to do with the beat and not really working with the artists on it. However, I did think that there were not many moments where I was completely blown away by what was happening. It was mostly, I would say, really fun and entertaining on most of the tracks, and really solid throughout. So overall, I think Young Thug's individual performance on this was really fun, energetic, really awesome, and really entertaining. And I, to be honest, reckon it exceeded my expectations quite a bit. I think that the production on this album is very clean and well done and polished. While there were a couple of tracks on here and there that didn't really work well with the artist, there were quite a lot that really were captured how catchy and energetic Young Thug is and the features he had on it. The features were mostly decent and enjoyable, and most of them worked really well with what Young Thug was doing on this album. There was a lot of good chemistry throughout this album, and while this album didn't completely blow me away, it was still a very decent and fun album to listen to. So overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. I recommend you to listen to this if you want some pretty catchy, decent bangers here and there, and just have a fun time listening to Young Thug fully embracing where he is in his career right now. What do you think of this album? Leave a comment down below on your opinion on it. I love hearing your opinions. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want more content. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day and peace.